Well, this is the day we've all been waiting for. The CDC finally lifted the no-sail ban. That story and more on the Cruise News Week in Review. Welcome to the Cruise World's Cruise News Week in Review. My name is Mark, and I'm glad you're here. It is October 31st, 2020, Halloween. But I must tell you, for me, it feels more like Christmas. The CDC gave all of us cruise lovers an early Christmas present yesterday when they lifted the no-sail order. And tonight, the CLIA ban on sailing from the U.S. ends, and the cruise industry gets the green light to sail. Kind of. Let's slow our roll here, because as much as we wanted to, this is not going to happen overnight. The cruise lines need time, for many up to 30 days, to get the crews and ships in place and train the crew on newly implemented protocols that are going to allow us all to cruise safely. And speaking of that, the CDC has issued a new framework for conditional sailing order that creates a phased approach to resuming cruise ship passenger operations in U.S. waters. The 40-page order states that the CDC first wants to see that cruise lines have a plan in place for keeping their ships' crews healthy and safe, and that the CDC will ensure cruise ship operators have adequate health and safety protections for crew members while these cruise ship operators build the laboratory capacity needed to test future passengers. Next, the cruise lines will need to conduct simulated voyages to test the ability of the cruise lines to mitigate COVID risk on the ships. Then, in the third phase of the CDC's framework, the agency will require certification for ships that meet specific requirements. Only after that will the lines be allowed to begin sailing with passengers. Of course, these phases are subject to change based on public health considerations, and the CDC did not offer an estimate on how long it may take the cruise companies to complete the phases and get passengers on board. Now, one thing that I found interesting is that the order suggested that some cruise lines may be allowed to return to cruising more quickly than others, depending on how quickly they satisfy the CDC requirements. So I guess the race is on. Just don't try to go too fast, my friends, because we want cruising back for the long haul. I have seen a lot of posts recently talking about how so-and-so has a friend who works in the cruise industry and how they recently got a new contract and will be going back to work soon. But now we have finally heard it from the horse's mouth. The CTI group in Indonesia announced on their Facebook page this week that several Carnival team members had departed Jakarta en route to St. Martin to join ships including the Horizon, Pride, and Mardi Gras. This is a good sign that Carnival and the other cruise lines are taking the necessary steps to get their ships ready to sail as soon as December, as long as they can complete the phases and get that coveted CDC conditional sailing certificate, that is. I really enjoy bringing you the latest cruise news each and every week, and if you enjoy the updates, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's easy, it's free, and it really helps us continue to bring you great cruise and travel content. As you can see, I am away from the studio on some business, so today we're coming to you from the Hilton at the JFK Airport in New York City. And before we go any farther, I have a quick clarification on a story from last week about Royal Caribbean's double crown and anchor points. I had said that if you were already booked, you were out of luck, but I did a little digging and it looks like that is not the case. So as long as you are booked for a 2021 cruise prior to the end of this year, and your crown and anchor number is associated with your booking, you should be gobbling up those double points. Now, a week sure can change a lot, and it was a bloody week on Wall Street as a whole, and all of the big three cruise stocks are seeing red. They did rebound a bit after the CDC's announcement yesterday, but they all finished the week way down from last week's closing bell. Carnival dropped 11.35%, Royal Caribbean fell 13.28%, and NCL was down just under 10%. Now, unlike the market as a whole, the cruise stocks did show some life yesterday, so hopefully they can continue that momentum into next week. Virgin Voyages' first cruise ship, the Scarlet Lady, was delivered back in February 2020 and was set to call Miami her home starting in March. Well, COVID put the kibosh on that plan, and right now she's sitting in cold layup over in Genoa, Italy. And the inaugural voyage has been pushed back to January of 21. Now, if you're not familiar with Virgin Voyages, they are a premium adults-only cruise line, and the fare includes 20-plus eateries, non-alcoholic beverages, Wi-Fi, gratuities, and group fitness classes. Oh, and in case you missed it, I said adults only, no kids. The Scarlet Lady also has an ice cream parlor, 2-story club and spa with a thermal suite, and with the ship being adults only, I did mention that, right? There are also a healthy offering of bars and lounges on board. And once you're all liquored up and ready to make great choices, you can stumble on over to the onboard tattoo shop and get yourself an unforgettable cruise memento like this gal did. I'm sure she doesn't regret it. Virgin Voyages' second ship, the Valiant Lady, is currently under construction and is set to debut in May of 21, operating week-long Mediterranean cruises from Barcelona before joining her sister in Florida in the winter of 2021. Now, we all know that Florida is home to a lot of cruise ports, and a ton of Floridians rely on jobs in the industry to put food on their tables. And their governor, Ron DeSantis, is getting very vocal about wanting cruise ships to sail from the state's ports sooner rather than later. The governor says that he thinks it should be up to the traveling public to decide if they feel safe getting aboard a cruise ship. He went on to say, quote, "No one would ever be forced to come visit or go on a cruise. And if you're not comfortable doing that, God bless you. But I think there's a lot of people that would like the opportunity. And I know there's a lot of people that would like the opportunity to earn a living doing it," end quote. Now, Florida has taken a massive hit from the cruising ban. A recent report from the Maritime Commission says the state has lost $3.2 billion in economic activity and over 49,000 local jobs. Earlier this week, Princess Cruises announced that they are delaying the restart of cruising from Australia and New Zealand until at least May 31st of 2021. Princess said the uncertainty over when travel restrictions will be lifted was the main factor in its decision. The ships affected by the delay are the Sapphire Princess, the Regal Princess, the Pacific Princess, and the Majestic Princess. Passengers affected by these cancellations have a couple of options to choose from, but only have until November 30th to select the refund option. In news from the north, Canada's Minister of Transport, the Honourable Marc Garneau, announced that they have extended its ban on cruise ships through February 2021. Canada's ban on cruise ships was originally announced back in March and extended in May and was set to expire today. Last week we talked a bit about AIDA cruises as the AIDA Blue was sailing in Italy, but now that Carnival-owned cruise line has announced a temporary pause in operations due to new restrictions in Germany. On Wednesday, German Chancellor Angela Merkel announced a new lockdown that goes into effect on November 2nd due to a sharp increase in COVID-19 infections across the country. To help stop the spread of the virus, AIDA Cruises has canceled all cruises until November 30th. Another German cruise line, TUI, has also responded to the Chancellor's news, stating that their cruise operations will not stop. TUI currently has 3 ships in service, 2 from German ports that consist of just sea days, and the third is operating in Greece. TUI said more than 30,000 satisfied guests have traveled with the company since they resumed operations in July, and they are proof that safe and healthy travel on board their Mein Schiff fleet is possible even in times of coronavirus. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard, but there is a huge vote this Tuesday. That's right, there are 3 cruise-related referendums on the ballot November 3rd in Key West, Florida, that, if enacted, would drastically cut the number of cruise ships allowed to dock there. Here's what the residents will decide. Should the city cap the number of daily cruise ship visitors at 1,500? Should the city prohibit ships with a capacity of more than 1,300 people from docking? And should the city give priority to ships with the best environmental and health records? We will find out who prevails, the local activists that want to turn away the megaships that they claim spread disease and damage the environment, or the cruise industry itself and the local business owners who depend on tourism. I just want to know if I'm going to be able to get off the ship at Key West and party at Sloppy Joe's. And of course, that's not the only vote that's happening. Those of us here in the United States will elect our next president. I will not use this channel as a political platform, as all of us here have one huge thing in common, and that's being the part of the cruise world family. But I do urge you to vote. Do your research, make an educated decision based on facts from all sources, and exercise your right to vote. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel with the notification bell on. When is your next cruise? Let me know down in the comments so we can talk about it. And keep an eye out for my next Pure Michigan vlog that comes out this week. Steph and I visited the Motown Museum, and I know everybody loves the music of Motown. Happy Halloween, stay safe, and I will talk to you next week.